Most business owners that I speak with on a daily basis still haven't quite understood how to use AI, and in this case large language models, the correct way in order to become more efficient and more leveraged in the work they do. Leverage is a very used word nowadays, but what is leverage? Is for the same amount of energy that you input, you want to get as much out of it as you can. This is one of the main purposes and features of generative AI and large language models, which I will show you in this video how to use them in order to become more leveraged. But before we do, I want to explain how most people use large language models. Think ChatGPT or Claude. They use it to answer simple questions like, what do you think of this copy? Or how can you write me an email? Or what is the most ideal way to do X? So simple questions that will never get you a good output. And in order to explain this to you, I prepared a little diagram for you. And it's a very simple diagram because there is no need to overcomplicate that which is very simple. An AI system is, you have the large language model in the middle, and let's reduce this and let's get some white color in this, blue color. You have a large language model in the system, which is the brain. This is the brain that's going to perform the action that you want it to based on the information that one, it already has from birth. Let's say this is the training data that big tech companies provided it in order to be able to answer questions like what is 2 plus 2, how do you spell this in Japanese. So all of these basic questions, okay, have the brain. Then you have the data that it was trained on, and this is one of the most nuances in here because we don't know what this data is, we don't know how factual this data is, and we don't know how accurate it is. So if you are trying to base, for example, your marketing strategy on the data that it was provided, meaning ChatGPT, what would be the best marketing strategy for this new product I am going to launch? You have completely no idea on what the brain, what large language model is going to base itself in order to give you an answer. So we don't want to rely on this, even though it's there. This is something that I want you to understand. This data will always be there and it's unknown. Meaning we don't know what data it was trained on. Let me make, okay, unknown. Now, what happens when this action is performed? So when you ask a large language model a question, say this is the user input, so how do you spell this in Japanese? Let's start with the most basic use case. Not this. Let's get a shape in here. How do you spell Japanese? And no, so how do you spell butterflies in Japanese? Give me just the actual word, no introduction. Okay, this is gonna start making sense to you in a bit. Let's say you provide this to the ChatGPT. So you paste this in ChatGPT. I want to clearly define what is user input, what is prompt, and the whole interaction that's gonna happen. The user input is this. So it's what you want it to do. A prompt is give me just the actual word, so no introduction. So this is an instruction in the sense that I don't want you to give me an answer which is this is how you spell butterfly in Japanese. No, I just want the actual output. So that's a prompt, an instruction. The same way you would instruct a copywriter of yours to don't give me the full brief, I just want to know whether we go with A or B. Okay? This is a prompt. This is user input, and this is what ChatGPT will do. ChatGPT will look at your user input, it will register it, then it will call upon the prompt, which is this. It will call upon the data, all the training data that it has, and this is where it will find the answer to your question, which is how do you spell butterflies in Japanese. So it will call on both of these, and it will give it back to the large language model, which will then provide you with the output. Okay? And this is how the very basics of a large language model interaction with the human, so between input and output, how it works. Now we're going to complicate it a little bit in order for you to understand it, how you should be using it in your day-to-day and in your company's day-to-day. So I'm going to clean this up and we'll be back in 1 second. What you want to do, and I'll explain this picture in a bit, what you want to be doing when it comes to large language models is finding activities and finding, let's say, tasks that you do better than anyone else around you. So tasks that you do better than anyone else around you. Take writing an email for cold prospects, for example, and understanding how you do it and turning that into a prompt so more people in your company and in your organization can do it, achieving the same output that you as the expert would without you needing to be involved in the process. Let me repeat that. You want to find the activities that you are the expert, meaning you do them better than anyone else in your company. You want to turn those into a prompt, which is what I will explain just in a bit, in order for everyone in your company, so your organization as a whole, to be able to get those outputs whenever they want without you, the expert, needing to be involved. The same way you would teach, for example, your junior designer how to create, let's say, a cover picture that actually resonates with the audience, that's what you will be creating a prompt on. Because, for example, I know how to write emails, but I don't know anything about creating thumbnails, for example, or cover pictures. Yeah, I know it needs to create some types of curiosity, but I don't know how to use tons of colors, the resolutions, red versus white, red versus blue, left side versus right side. If you were a thumbnail expert, you would be able to create a much better prompt. Even though I'm, let's say, the prompt expert, you would be able to create a much better prompt of when it comes to creating thumbnails than I were to do, because I don't know what details to input into a thumbnail in order to make it a winning thumbnail. For example, I would be able to do it for an email or for a marketing strategy or for marketing research. Okay, now I want to show you first how one of these prompts looks like, then how one of these prompts looks in the whole system, so this system that I showed to you 2 minutes ago, and then 3, how you can automate this so anyone in your company or in your team or in your family, I don't know what the prompt will be about, can tap into it and use it. Okay, and then in that last step, so how other people can use it, you'll have 2 ways to go about it. You will have the unleveraged way and you will have the leveraged way. So let's get started. A detailed prompt will look a little bit something like this, and I won't go into much detail because I have a lot of videos in this channel on how to do it. To have the role, which is take the persona of a seasoned M&A advisor with a blah blah blah, so the skills, using the latest, so what methodology I want you to use. I want you to do a strategy for exit, okay? And this is how I want you to use it, so include this. So this is my prompt, so the actual instructions, this is what I want you to do, okay? Because I, as a seasoned M&A expert, it wasn't me that created this prompt, I built it with an M&A expert for his business, but let's say I was the expert. Me as the M&A expert, I know exactly what an exit strategy needs to entail. So point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. In this case it's 9, so I'm 2 off. But I know it needs to include all of these points. Therefore, I'm going to provide the large language model with the guidelines that I know investors will ask for when they see our exit strategy. This is the process of transferring your expertise onto the large language model, from your brain into someone else's brain. You could do this for your employee. In this case, you are teaching an AI. Why? Because it's more reliable at scale. So this is the prompt, the guidelines, the instructions. But then you are thinking, okay, put yourself in the position of a large language model. Imagine if I asked you to do this. If I asked you, John, if your name is John and if you are watching this, this was made for you. Lies. Anthony, this was also made for you. Let's say your name is John. John, I want you to go do a report based on these 12 parameters. What would you ask me next? Because this is important to understand. What would you ask me next? Okay, Andre, what is the company that we're doing this about? What is the industry? What is their numbers? Who do they sell for? What's their product? What their margins? How many employees? What type of products do they sell? All of those, correct? You would need that information in order to then be able to create the report. And this, as you see here, it's the information needed. These are the user inputs, if you remember correctly, in a more detailed prompt. The example I provided here, the Japanese one, wasn't the best example because it was very short. But here you'll be able to understand more. So right now, what have we given the large language model? We have given the user inputs, which is gonna be, it will never be the same, because if I give this to Sarah, she will do different user inputs than if I give this to Tim, for example, because different companies, different industries, different products, different positioning, margins, all of that. So the user inputs, we can put it as a dynamic variable, so a DV, and the prompts, we can put it as SV, so static variables, meaning whatever the information down below is, whatever it is, it will always perform the market report according to this information right here, which was built according to your expertise. Okay? I don't know if that was clear. Let me say it again. To me it's clear because I speak about this day in and day out. Whatever the information is down here, which will always be changing, because remember, what are we trying to do in an AI system? Is to replicate your expertise to other people, because other people will have other use cases that they need to use your expertise upon. This is your user expertise, and this is static variable, and this will be the dynamic variable. This is what will allow, for example, Sarah to create reports like you. How? You create the prompt and then Sarah just has to input the user inputs. And you can be sure that the report will always be performed like you want it to. Okay? This is an AI system. There's not much more than it. The rest is all complications and temperatures, automations, things like this. But this is the core of an AI system. Okay? So remember, you have the large language model in the middle. This is the brain that's going to perform the action. You have the user input, which will always be changing, or not, because you can have cases where you are always performing the actions for the same company. So let's say I'm performing a full marketing strategy for my company. So the inputs will always be the same, meaning who are you doing this for? Okay, what is the company that we are creating the marketing funnel for? It will always be the same. But then I might want an email, an ad, and DM script, marketing report, market research, competitors analysis, all of that. So there will be prompts. Okay, but that's a different use case. That's more for later stages. But I'm speaking about this case, how to transfer your expertise so other people can use it. You'll have the user input, which will be the information that someone else will need to fill in order for the output to be valid, let's say, for it to work. The user input will be the trigger, it's what will start the automation. This user input will be captured by the large language model, which will access the prompt and the data that it has. And here I cannot tell you 100% what happens, the interaction, but I know for a fact if the prompt is detailed, it will prioritize this prompt and then it will add a little bit of this data, so like 80-20. Okay, But if you just say, do me a report, and none of these bullet points that we have here, it will prioritize the data, and you won't have any control over how the output comes. Okay, it will be the most probable according to the use case, and you don't want that. You want predictability, you want consistency, so you can be head clear knowing that yes, other people can use what I built, the system that I built, it will always provide the output like I want it to. And then based on this, it will give you the output. Okay, simple as that. Simple as that. Now, how can you provide this to someone else? You have two ways. And I'll clean the board again. If it's just one prompt, you can give the prompt to the user and say, every time you want to do X, so a marketing report, use this prompt and fill this user input. Okay? If it's just one prompt, you can do that. You will have a problem here depending on who you are giving it to, which is a problem I had last year, which is why I had to find the second solution that I'm going to show you in a bit, is that I didn't want people having my prompts. Okay? It was my, let's say, expertise. I didn't want people to have my prompt. I wanted them to have the same output as I was having, sure, but I didn't want them to have my prompt. That was problem number one. Problem number two is that, for example, for an output, let's say full marketing strategy, it was not just one prompt. It was maybe eight prompts in a row, the same prompt change that I had. 1 second. So what you do in this case is you would have to go, and let's begin here. You'd have to go into a platform like this, make.com, which I've gone over a lot of times in this channel, in order to make it run like this. Okay? And I'm going to explain this without trying to confuse you a lot. You remember the user inputs? Yeah, we said, so we have user inputs and we have prompts, user inputs and prompts. Pretty much all the prompts are built onto here, okay? Because they are repeatable. They are always the same. User inputs will be captured via here, meaning I go here, ICP, I can input my email, let me use this fictional, and this is the magic. Okay, failed to verify, 1 second. I don't know why I paused it, because yes, this is a raw channel, we don't hide anything. So pretty much I have to reconnect this, because after a while it disconnects, because I hadn't used this build in a while, and probably the email will need a connection as well. Yes, it will. Okay, let's see now. My apologies on pausing this video. You are probably watching this because this is an authentic channel and we don't bullshit here. I don't want to hide things. So let's see. Okay, now it worked. So this, we fill the form. Okay, let's go step by step. Other videos in my channel, the last ones, will help you understand this part better. I wanted to mainly make it about the first part, which I already explained clearly in my opinion. Now I'm gonna show you the full thing. It will capture this webhook here, it will capture the information, the user input, okay? So the information for this specific case, the dynamic variable. So the variable that won't be the same in run 1, run 2, run 3. So for Sarah, for Tim, for John, it will be different information, because they will target different ICPs and they will have different problems. But it will always perform the actions that I want based on whatever information comes. So whatever the ICP, whatever the problem they have, whatever way you help them fix it, it will always perform the task like you want it to. And I'm going to show you how this looks. Let me see if I can access here. For example, my prompt. You are a blah 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 anthropologist, documenting. This is the system, and then the user is give me X, so what I want you to do, and this is the information about the ICP. And you see here the information, the who is our ICP came here. Okay, how does this look interior? This is how the one of my prompts look. This is the information about the ICP, and we put a placeholder. So every time, regardless of what is filled here, it will always come here. So the large language model will always read, okay, this is the information about the ICP, and it will read what the user filled in the input in the Google form. But then it will always perform the actions according to this prompt. Okay? Doesn't matter what the user input is, it will always perform the actions that I want it to. And in this case, what a user would do is he would fill this. And now I don't want to show you all my emails. The user would fill this Google form and they would receive the document in their email with all of the outputs. Okay? I won't explain how to do this step here because I explained this in previous videos, but what I want you to understand is, one, they don't have access to your prompts. Sure, they can get the same output, but they don't have access to your prompts. Only you have them, so you're secured. Number two, they don't have to firstly paste step by step in ChatGPT and wait for the answer to load. They don't have to do that. Number two, they don't have to have a GPT account or a Claude account to use this, because this is an objection. I don't know why, because it's $20 a month, dirt cheap. But this is an objection we had from a couple of clients earlier this year, which, but I don't have a GPT account, how can I use your prompts? So this fixes it, because, for example, this solution to me costs 0.0001 cents to run in terms of API costs. So I can just give this form to someone who doesn't have GPT and they can use it. And number three, they don't have to read the output in GPT. They can read it in a Google Doc, branded, and it's way more clear. Okay, and in total this takes about 1 minute to run. Okay, so if you wanted to do this in GPT, it will take you about 5 minutes, because you have to, one, paste it, two, wait for it to run, and paste it and wait for it to run, then paste it and wait for it to run. Here, 1 minute, you have it all. And this is how you can replicate your expertise at scale. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm happy because I was able to explain this well. I know that in 1-2 years I'll be able to explain this way better than at this moment. To me, this makes total sense. So you get your expertise, so your way of writing emails or your way of creating marketing reports, and you productize it in the form of prompts. So other people, whether you want to sell it to clients, whether you want to give it to your copywriters, your media buyers, your creative designers, it doesn't matter what you want to do with it. The question is, not the question, the detail here is the relevant, the relevant thing, apologies, the relevant thing here is that you want to take your expertise in a certain matter, doesn't matter what the task is, but you want to take your expertise and build it on a prompt so other people can use it and achieve the same desired output without you having to be involved. And this is leverage, because you can have your expertise replicated onto an output on 1,000 people at scale. Because let's say you have an audience of 100,000 people. Unlikely if you're watching this, but who knows? But let's say you have an audience or a customer base of 1,000 clients, and you all want to write an email for each one of them, but you don't want to write an email for all of them, and you just send them the form to all of them. Hello, I'm going to write you a free email, okay? I want to write you a free email. You've been a client of ours in the past. We want to give back, or a free welcoming sequence that you can apply in your funnel. I'm gonna write it for free. All I need you to do is go onto this Google form, paste in what you want to speak about in your emails, and in 5-10 minutes I'll have it for you. And you can do that for 1,000 clients. You can be on the beach, send an email to 1,000 people. I don't know why I went back, but yeah, I'm gonna go back. You can sit at the beach, send this email to 1,000 people, being like, hey, I want to write you a free email, just fill in this form and you'll have it in 5-10 minutes. And when you get back from the beach, everyone was delivered an email. And most of them are like, oh my god, this is crazy, yeah, now I can launch this new product. Hey, by the way, can we talk about that marketing strategy that you presented to us like 3 months ago, but we didn't end up signing on it? Yeah, oh my god, this is crazy, thank you for the value. This is the difference. You want to lead with value, and this will allow you to lead with value. Why? Because your value is now productized into something that it doesn't take anything out of you to distribute this. Meaning, okay, let me explain this a little bit better. It doesn't take that much extra energy after you've built this system for other people to use it. All you have to do is think of the person that you want to use it and tell him to use it, tell him how to use it, okay? And that way you can distribute your expertise across thousands and hundreds of thousands of users to get what you are good at, therefore increasing your value in the marketplace, therefore increasing your income, because we are paid in proportion to the value we provide to the marketplace. This is it for me today. I don't think I have anything else to say. Have a good day. If you were unclear on this last make part, let me just show you. If you were unclear on this, I have too many step-by-step videos on how to do it, so I won't explain this one, so you can check some of my other videos. And yeah, have a good day, good weekend. Today is Saturday for me. I encourage you to work on Saturdays because it's brilliant. Your mind goes like crazy. But yes, I will stop ranting now. Have a good one.